Welcome back, everyone. If the Biden administration has accomplished anything, it's been their ability to break terrible records. And it's played a pivotal role in Biden's presidency. Yet the truth of the matter is that hardly any of those records are good for the American people. They're all terrible. Here's just one example. Just this week, America's national debt reached the highest it's ever been. According to the Treasury Department data as of Monday, the nation's total public debt is at 31 plus trillion with a T dollars. This, as Biden has been forking over money that we don't have to Ukraine, as governors like Gavin Newsom are forking over money he doesn't have for random stimulus checks, just endless spending and printing of money. That's how we got here. It's all due to Washington. Joining me now to discuss, host of Watchdog on Wall Street radio show and president of Markowski Investments, Chris Markowski. Chris, I do not know how we're going to pay off our $31 trillion credit card. I don't foresee that this is something that's even possible to ever come back from.
No, not the way this country's been heading for a very long period of time. You're talking, and one of the interesting things about this $31 trillion, I want everybody to put it into perspective, is the fact we've seen interest rates come up. The interest on our debt alone over the next 10 years is going to be close to $9 trillion. So think about that. It's difficult enough to get your arms around 1 trillion. Try 9 trillion. Okay, forget about the 31 trillion. You'd have to actually understand the movie Interstellar to actually get your arms around something like that. But $9 trillion in debt service, you know what that could build, what that could create, what that would be done with that in the private sector? That's what you and I and everybody else out there is going to be paying in interest because of all the borrowing.
Yeah, it's really remarkable to think about. I mean, $1 million is hard to fathom. $10 million is hard to fathom. Multiply that by I don't even know what 300, 3,000. I don't know what exactly the math is. I'm not a mathematician. I'm no biologist, but that is just an insurmountable amount of debt that we have reached. And I'll tell you something else. Our government, the IRS, is certainly not doing us any favors or helping us. In fact, we have this from Fox Business. 5 IRS employees stole COVID relief funds to buy Gucci trips to Las Vegas. According to the Justice Department, Gucci and trips to Vegas. They apparently defrauded the PPP loans and the EIDL program to get this money. So Chris, they're sinking us into debt, and then they're also stealing stealing our funds, not just through taxes, but literally stealing money from the federal government.
Well, that's a bit of a tip in the iceberg. It's IRS agents. They must have started some small business in order to try to defraud the government, but it wasn't a difficult thing to do. They're putting estimates now at the fraud at over $600 billion. Again, put that number into perspective. You could rebuild all of Southwest Florida a couple times with that type of money that was stolen. We're talking unemployment fraud, a myriad of things, money going all over the globe. And again, this is, people, they want to expand government. We don't have a well-run government as it is that they can't even track these things. Like I said, they caught some IRS agents here and they're catching some fraudsters here and there. But when you actually take a look at the size of the problem and how bad it was, it's pretty pathetic.
Now, obviously, Chris, as we've established, there's no way to pay back $31 trillion that's soon apparently going to turn into about $40 trillion when all the interest adds up. But by then, we're going to have more interest on top of that, and it's this never-ending cycle. What's the path to least resistance? How do we get out the least screwed over, so to speak?
Well, we are, in essence, kind of paying it back, even though it is bigger with inflation. Inflation's a tax. And, there's some concern whether or not foreign governments are going to continue to buy our debt because of the fact we're so far into debt. Well, don't worry about it. The Fed will buy it if they don't. I wish that we had some sort of balanced budget amendment. I wish we had a party out there. I mean, you go after Democrats when it comes to this, but Republicans haven't been very good on spending either. Yeah. Every single time they say they want to get something under control, they don't. I miss Senator Tom Coburn. They used to call him Dr. No because he would reject all these spending programs. Do have a couple there. Rand Paul's have been pushed for a very long time for a balanced budget amendment. You could slowly but surely knock this thing down. You just have got to get some people that are willing to do that. And right now, both parties are all into handouts and giveaways.
Yeah, well, I certainly agree with that. There's a lot of Republicans that take sort of a progressive approach, which is just throw money at it and throw money at it. Even President Trump, he was no fiscal conservative by any means. Before we go, Chris, I also want to get your thoughts on the news about OPEC. They're going to be cutting back oil production. Biden's been on his hands and knees begging them not to do this. They're going to do it anyways, and now he's depleting our strategic oil reserves. They're at the lowest they've been in 40-ish years. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the Biden administration, it's an election year. We got midterms, and quite frankly, I don't even believe that they would be releasing the 10 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve unless it was the case. This is by design. They want energy prices to be higher. What OPEC is doing, OPEC can do. They're a cartel. We had defeated this cartel, and we allowed them off the ropes by deciding to go in a different direction. And again, people are upset about this, but again, you get the policies, you get the government that you vote for. You can go back to Barack Obama, and you could look at his energy secretary, his first one, Stephen Chu, who said, we want our gasoline prices like Europe's gasoline prices. This is to usher in all of their Greta Thunberg, climate change, hopes and dreams that they want to push forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's bad news, depleting our reserves like this. It's not going to play out well in the long run. That much should be obvious. Chris Markowski from Watchdog on Wall Street Radio Show. Always great to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you.